Good morning, everybody. So we need your help on this one. This was a song you might have heard before, but I want to make sure everybody knows the words. So it goes like this. God is so good. Can you try that with me? One more time. God is so good. A little louder. God is so good. Perfect. Now we're going to stand up for this one. Yeah, please stand up with us. And I'm hoping you can help me with one of these. Beautiful. So God is so good, and then it's my God is so good to me. It sounds like this. My God is so good to me. Let's try that together.
My God is so good to me.
That's it. Okay. I woke up this morning singing,
God is so good.
I woke up this morning singing,
God is so good.
I woke up this morning singing,
God is so good.
hey, my God is so good to me. Feeling good down in my soul.
God is so good.
Feeling good down in my soul.
God is so good.
Feeling good down in my soul.
God is so good.
Hey, my God is so good to me. In my time of trouble,
God is so good.
in my time of trouble,
God is so good.
in my time of trouble, praise God.
God is so good.
Hey, my God is so good to me. In my time of triumph,
God is so good.
in my time of triumph, oh yeah.
God is so good.
In my time of triumph, yeah.
God is so good.
Hey, my God is so good to me. And when the day is over,
God is so good.
when the day is over, I'm singing.
God is so good.
When the day is over, hey,
God is so good.
yeah, 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 my God is so good to me. Every day in every way,
God is so good.
every day in every way.
God is so good.
When I take the time to praise the Spirit,
God is so good.
yeah, 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 my God is so good to me. Every day in every way,
God is so good.
yeah, 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 every day in every way.
God is so good.
When I take the time to praise the Spirit,
God is so good.
oh, my God is so good to me. I got up this morning singing.
God is so good.
I got up this morning singing.
God is so good.
I got up this morning singing.
God is so good.
Yeah, 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 my God is so, my God is so, my God is so good to me. We need your help on this one too. I am with God, and all things are possible. I am with God, and all things are possible. Please join us. I am with God, and all things are possible. I am with God, and all things are possible. I am with God, and all things are possible. I am with God, and all things are possible. I and all things are possible. I am with God, and all things are possible.
And all things are possible. Good morning, San Jose CSL. We are so happy to have you here with us today. And good morning to our live streaming community. We are most grateful that you have joined us this morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living San Jose, where we are transforming lives, building dreams, and revealing love, where all that we ask is that you stay open to the possibility of changing your entire life by changing your mind. Welcome home. If you're new to the center, we want to welcome you, and I'll tell you a few ways you can stay connected to our wonderful center. You can visit us through our website online. You can call us. There's a phone number in your bulletin. And we have packets available for you after service at the concierge table located in Fellowship Hall. They will also be available in the foyer if you choose to go out that way after service. For our live streaming community, our moderator this morning is the wonderful Max Overland. And it is time for us to be in community and turn to your neighbor and give each other a very warm welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. There. Hi, I'm Debbie Slayton. I'm your professional prayer practitioner of the day, and I would like to welcome you all here. And there's going to be 2 minutes of silent chant, then 2 minutes of silence, and then I will lead you in a prayer, and then the affirmation, and then it's a kickoff for a great Sunday.
With God, and all things are possible. I am with God, and all things are possible. I am with God, and all things are possible. I am with God, and all things are possible. With God.
If you join me with prayer. There is one magnificent, powerful, fabulous God with all of the strength, power, courage, wisdom, grace. And I speak this truth for you as I speak it for myself. All of those attributes of God are available to us at all times. By opening, meditating, and giving yourself to this one truth, the truth that you are a living, loving, vibrant spirit brought here to emanate love on this planet. And I know that your intentions are set and that you are also open to allowing your intentions to manifest. You allow God working through you, and you open and you listen to what is your right path, your right choice, your right freedom. I know that you are, and I am, living a divinely guided life. And for this I say thank you. I say thank you, God, for every blessing, every challenge, every opportunity to express love on this planet and to open to more good. Thank you, God. And I release this prayer into the action of the law where I know that it is received and has fully revealed itself. And join me in saying, and so it is. The affirmation for January: whatsoever things are just, join me. Whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are true, and whatsoever things are lovely, I think on these things so that they grow and increase in my own life. Thank you.
Something is building, I can hear the momentum. It's the sound of change, the sound of things to come. It's building in our cities, it's building in the towns. It's a song within, waiting to be found. Only you know the part that is written within your heart. One verse, one song, one light shines, one people, one truth, one love divine. You're the missing voice in this symphony. Everyone is needed for true harmony. The melody for you is just behind the doubt. Sing and remember what this life's all about. Only you know the part that is written within your heart. One verse, one song, one light shines, one people, one truth, one love divine. We are a one world choir. Lift the vibration higher. Heart is wide as the sky above. Our song can heal, so send it out with love. Yeah, yeah. So I was hoping you would all help me with the last verse. Is it up on the screen? Oh, good. They said they might do that. I can't see from here. Okay. Usually I go into a little rap that it's a lot of words, but as long as you remember the word one, sometimes it's not always on the screen, but we got the screen. Forget that part, okay? Maybe you could help me with one more of these, too. We come from the light, and that's where we go. One family, here to learn and grow. Give the gift of you, that is your melody. This song called life, one great symphony. It's time to sing the part that is written within our heart. One verse, one song, one light shines, one people, one truth, one love deep. One more time. One verse, one song, one light shines, one people, one truth, one love divine, one love divine, one love divine, one love divine.
Good morning, everyone. Working? I'm Susan James, and I'm here to give the Power Talk this morning. And what I'd like to share about is our topic for the month, which is the power of direction. The power of intention. And I'd also like to share about how this little magazine changed my life, actually changed almost the entire direction of my life. In 1986, I was living in Washington, D.C., and I was a young woman who was in a big job, and I was way over my head, and also pretty much in the wrong place at the right time, and maybe at the right place at the wrong time, I'm not sure. But I thought that my dream had come true and I had arrived, and the truth was that I was just absolutely miserable and depressed and unhappy, and I really didn't know why, and it didn't make sense because on the outside everything looked so good in my life. And it was about this time that a serendipitous event, in my view, occurred. This Science of Mind magazine arrived in the mail. And I knew I didn't order it. I knew that it wasn't something that I asked for, I thought. And there was a little note attached. It said, "Sent by Anonymous." So I had no idea where it came from or who sent it, but I decided that I would look through it, and I started reading the articles. And if you're familiar with the magazine, it has daily readings. And the daily readings at that time were written by Ernest Holmes. And he was the founder, of course, of Science of Mind and Centers for Spiritual Living, also known back then as Church of Religious Science, in 1986. And so I started reading it, and I was so comforted by it and so uplifted by it, particularly the daily readings that spoke about affirmative prayer and how you can change your life by changing your thinking and doing this by this 5-step prayer process. And in the back of the magazine, they don't do this today, but because there's so many of them, there was a listing of the different places, centers you could go to learn more and hear more about the Science of Mind. And so there happened to be one near my home in Washington, D.C. And so that particular Sunday, I went to this center. It was located in a hotel, which I thought was odd. And it was a conference room, and in the conference room were probably about 30 or 40 people, and there was two ministers, husband and wife team, Rita and Noel. Noel played the piano, and Rita gave the talk. And I don't remember what Rita said that morning, but I do remember that I was brought to tears, and I was moved, and felt as though something was happening. I couldn't describe it, but she talked about following your dreams. She talked about following your intention. And she talked about changing your thinking so that your life will change. And somehow that resonated with me. I wasn't quite sure how. But I started asking myself, what was my heart's desire? And what came to me was that I remembered that I had always wanted to live in California. And my brother had moved here after college, and I had visited him several times. He lived in Southern Cal. And I loved the warm weather. I felt like California was my home, even though I wasn't born and raised here. So this was going on in my mind, and what happened then was that I sort of got this cosmic nudge, this sort of boost in the right direction, because I lost that big job. And in losing that big job, it made me stop and think about what I really wanted to do with my life. And the next Sunday, I went to the center and I spoke to Rita, and I said, Rita, you know, I think that I need to move. I think I need to go to California. I've always wanted to be there. And by the way, I just lost my job. And she looked at me, and I'll never forget her words. She said, well, you can be unemployed in California as well as Washington, D.C. So maybe it is the right step. So this is where, you know, as I was reading Wayne Dyer's book, The Power of Intention, this is where his words rang true for me, where he says, somewhere deep within us is a call to purpose, not always rational, not always delineated, and sometimes seemingly absurd, but the knowing is there. And I knew what I needed to do, and I knew what my true intention was, which was part of the calling. And I can tell you that I made that move. It was nothing short of miraculous. And if I had more time, I'd tell you all the things that happened serendipitously to make it occur in an easy and effortless fashion. Like my furniture got moved at no cost, which I couldn't have figured out on my own. That was a miracle. I asked Rita before I left D.C. where I should go in California, what center of spiritual living should I attend? And she said, oh, you have to go to Huntington Beach. She said, that's where Dr. Peggy Bassett is, and you'll love her. She's great. You must go there. So that's exactly what I did. I moved to Huntington Beach, and I attended the Center for Spiritual Living, then called Church of Religious Science, in Huntington Beach. And Peggy was really one of the most influential people in my life, but it gets better, and I'll end with this. At the same time that I was attending this church, so was Dr. David. He received his calling there, as he's mentioned many times from the podium, and so did I. Not to be a minister, but to go into psychology. So that's what I did, and all through my life, by following my heart and trusting and following the principles of what I learned here, my life today is beyond my wildest dreams. Thank you.
Very good morning to you. Dr. Susan James was sitting in that sanctuary, although we did not know each other at the time. It was the very first time that I went into that church, the very first time. I was there as a visitor, and I didn't want to be there because back then I didn't do church. A woman that I knew when I worked at Albertsons, she was a customer who would come in late at night because I was the night checker. So I would clock in at midnight, and I was there all night long. And back then, there were not many 24-hour places. They didn't really exist in the mid-'80s. So a 24-hour supermarket was amazing because when the bars closed, that's where the drunks went. And as the only checker there, I was like the counselor, the sponsor, the teacher. And mostly I put them to work. And one of the customers, her name was Janet, and Janet's, this was in the 80s, Janet's son was diagnosed with HIV, which meant he was going to die. Back in 1987, an HIV diagnosis was a diagnosis of death. But she was determined to find an alternative solution, and she was Mormon. And so clearly I was a young gay kid, and she wanted to have some companionship as she went and explored various alternatives, such as crystals, tarot cards, past life regressions, whole life readings, Shirley MacLaine. And then and I went with her to all of these things when she finally said, go with me to this church. And I thought, I don't do church. And I went with her rather begrudgingly, and when I was sitting in that room, my life altered. And I wasn't expecting it, which is the beauty sometimes. It was like, wow. And you may have been in that room you may have actually been in that same room. It's good to have you here. Dr. Susan James is facilitating a 5-week workshop beginning 2 weeks from Thursday. It's beginning on the 12th of February. And it's 5 Thursdays. The flyer you can find on the wall in Fellowship Hall if you want to know more about it. She's easy to find. She's wearing the beautiful red jacket, and she will be at the concierge to tell you more about it. What you may want to know is she's not taking any fees or collecting any money for it whatsoever. She's donating any income that comes is going to the center, so thank you for your generosity. I went to see a film night before last, and one of my favorite parts about going to the movies is I love the trailers. I love the trailers. And there was a trailer for a film that's coming out soon, I think 15 February. The film is called Tomorrowland, and it's a Disney flick. And it's the trailer is narrated by George Clooney, and the trailer opens with a young girl who's standing at a counter, apparently just getting out of jail, and she's collecting her things, like her watch, her cap, all the stuff that's in a manila envelope. And then we hear George Clooney's voice, who says, "What if there was a place, a secret place, where nothing was impossible, a miraculous place, where you could actually change the world? Do you want to go?" And I said out loud in the movie theater, "Yes!" And I realized while listening to that, what if there was a place, a secret place, where nothing was impossible? And I realized there really is a place. And in '87, it was the Huntington Beach Center. And I realized in '99, it was the Center for Spiritual Living San Jose on Clark Street. And I realized it's wherever I am every day, there really is a secret place where nothing's impossible. A miraculous place where you and I can actually change the world. It doesn't have to happen just on Sunday mornings, while you're here or a place like this, or while you're watching online. It can happen on Monday while you're in traffic, going to work, or that afternoon while you're having a mammogram, or while you're shopping at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or Safeway. Our theme for the month of January has been very exciting for me. I'm actually sorry this is the last Sunday in January, because I want more time with this particular book. And the book is called The Power of Intentions. Our theme for the year is Living Powerfully. And each month we're going to look at powerfully being a particular way. And the book for January is The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And it really is a good book. It's like a really compelling exploration into a new way of being. And for me, this The Power of Intention can be the miraculous place. Your intention can be the miraculous place where nothing is impossible and where you can change the world. Now, back in 1987, and all the way through my early years here on Clark Street in San Jose, for me, goals and intentions were inseparable. A goal is definitely what you do with your spirituality. Change your thinking, change your life. And we would use mind power. We would use sheer willpower to create princes, princesses, parking places, and palaces, where we would manage our relationships or our finances or mend our bodies or make friends or create new careers. And it's where the powerful people were hanging out. And what I found about that is that's extraordinary, because that type of living allowed me and still allows me to manage my earth-based needs, because when my earth-based needs are met, then I'm more free to explore the more esoteric connections with the thing itself. You know, the calling that I think virtually everybody in this room has, that is the calling to feel connected to each and every thing. For me, it's simple. I want to feel holiness in everything. I have holy moments with a bucket of popcorn. Things that I would never tell a therapist, but I can tell you. To have a holy experience while making a shake in my Vitamix. To have a holy experience while standing in line at Phil's Coffee, knowing that's going to be a long, holy experience. If you've ever been to Phil's, you know what I'm talking about. Don't go there if you're in a hurry. We're looking to have a holy experience. And there's a distinction, a transformation that Wayne Dyer in this book is describing for us that you and I can explore. And that is the subtle distinction between goals and intention. Goals are future-based. Intentions are also they're a direction. Both are directional. They lead you in a particular way to a particular, let's say, temperature, a particular destination. But a goal is always future-based, whereas an intention is current-based. You're shifted immediately, and you begin experiencing the intention immediately. Not just as something you will one day have, but something you're called to partner with the invisible one right now. The way the book describes this is intention is a force. It's a force in the universe that allows the act of creation to take place. Intention is not something you do, but it's an energy you become part of. So the secret place, the magic place I'm thinking of this week shows up in our topic, putting your intentions to work. Putting them to work. And I was looking at putting my intentions to work in relationships, putting my intentions to work in saying yes more frequently, and putting my intentions to work by becoming a connected person. Holy relationships, saying yes, and becoming connected. That to me is the magic place, the secret place, by putting my intentions to work. So, in the book, Wayne Dyer describes that the person on the spiritual path may want to consider beginning to articulate when our relationships are holy and unholy, and really distinguishing between holy and unholy relationships, and having the intention of all relationships being holy. Now, he describes unholy relationships are relationships in which you're there to get something from the other person. Like you're there because you want to get your cup of coffee, you want to get your latte, you want to get your pirate's booty from the checker, you want to get sex, you want to get money, you want to get forgiveness, you want to get something. Those are unholy relationships. A holy relationship, you may still get something, but a holy relationship is you're entering into partnership with the divine, with the one. I don't remember if it's Rumi or Hafez, and I know it's spelled H-A-F-I-Z, and I want to say Hafiz because that's how we might say it in English, but in Arabic it's Hafez. I don't know if it's Rumi or Hafez who said, because the one I love lives inside of you, I lean as close to you as I can. That's the intention of a holy relationship. And I make it my intention to have that everywhere I go, to never be a stranger, I have holy relationships with flight attendants and baggage handlers, and I have sometimes not so holy relationships with flight attendants and baggage handlers. But mostly my life is such that I notice when I'm not having a holy one, and I notice it's up to me to alter it. Wayne Dyer gives us an example of this, an illustration. He said he creates holy relationships with his local airline that's actually based in his hometown. And he uses them for all of his travel whenever possible. And he has relationships with them. Now, if you've ever been to a restaurant with me, or to a coffee house with me, or even to a supermarket with me, you'll know that me and the checker or the waiter, waitress, or the anything, we will become on a first name basis. We will become relational. It's important for me. It's important for me. Maybe 14 years as a supermarket checker, maybe that really impacted me such that I didn't want to be a human vending machine, always just handing something to somebody. Now, you know you're treating someone like a human vending machine, like when you go to a coffee counter and you're having a conversation on the phone and you're just placing your order. You're seeing that person as a human vending machine. I invite you, if you want to alter the world or you want to see the world altered, to stop it. Manage your phone call and then be present for the person. Manage your text or your Facebook postings and then be present with the person. Anyway, I could get perilously close to preaching with that one. So Wayne Dyer becomes relational with the people at the airport, and they're used to him. Now, Wayne Dyer, he's a superstar as far as the public speaking circuit goes, as the self-help circuit goes, as far as making impact in the world goes. And so he travels with cases and cases of books and CDs and even audio cassettes and DVDs, cases. And so he was going on a trip to a tour, and he had his assistant Maya with him, and each of them had 2 pieces of luggage, plus they had 7 cases on a cart that they were going to be checking onto the flight. Now, because he has a relationship with his airlines and the locals there, they usually accept him and accept his stuff and know that it's all going to be okay. But on that particular day, his flight was canceled because of a mechanical problem, and so they shifted him to another airline. So he and his assistant and their 4 pieces of luggage and their 7 boxes ran to the other side of the airport to an unfamiliar airline, and he knew immediately he had the opportunity to have an unholy relationship with them or a holy relationship. And he was determined, because that's his intention, to have a holy relationship. So he struck up a conversation with the agent right away. He knew that this could turn out badly. But he struck up a conversation because his intention was holy relationship. And so he said, hi, my name is Wayne Dyer, and thank you for taking care of me, and it must be frustrating for you having shifted all these passengers to your airline. And he just spoke to her. Do you ever look in the eyes of someone and you're just present? He was present with her. She could have rejected all of his stuff, because you know the rules. You know the rules, right? Some of you are here. You know the rules. Yeah, the rules are 2 checked bags. With some airlines, 2 checked bags are going to cost you. You have 1 carry-on and 1 small item that can only be a certain size, etc. You know the rules. Someone coming up with 7 extra cases doesn't get through. And there was an announcement on the PA system about this as he was standing in line, and that was 2 checked bags and anything else would be rejected because the flight is full. But because he had a holy relationship with her, the relationship altered. And she said to him when it was all over, when you wheeled up that cart with all those boxes, I was determined that you were not going to get them on that plane. And after a few moments of being with you, I would have carried them out and onto the plane myself. It's a pleasure to know you. Thank you for your business, and I hope you'll consider this airline in the future. That's a holy relationship. So I went to, this morning I left before Mauricio woke up, so when I do that, I go to a coffee house rather than make coffee at home. And this morning I went to Starbucks over on 2nd Street, across the street from the Repertory Theater. And I wanted a large decaf, and he didn't have decaf because their grinder was broken. And then I asked if he could make me a decaf Americano, and for some reason he couldn't. And so I ended up actually leaving there without any coffee. But I left there having had an interaction and not an altercation. Sometimes people can't give you what you want. But that doesn't mean you can't leave there graciously, sweetly, and leave there with that person having been better for being in your presence rather than having them be injured by you. Do you guys know what I'm talking about by this? For me, that is the magic place, and that is the secret place. And all that requires is an intention to have holy relationships everywhere you go. And don't underestimate the value of what happens in our world when you do that. When you look at the demographics of people who come to a place like this, even those of you who are here under duress, I know, because there's always someone here. You're here simply because you've been promised brunch afterwards. So you're enduring this, and thank you. I appreciate your fortitude. But the demographic of most persons who would come to a place like this is that they are looking to make an impact in the world, and they want peace to prevail. And I dare say most folks, though, don't realize the power that each one has to cause that peace to come into being, just by being one of 330 million people in the United States. That one can make a huge impact. And if you want to know more, read this book, because he describes how energies can be measured and how your energy and my energy can alter. I may talk about that more next Sunday. Anyway, so the first was have holy relationships. The second is to say yes more frequently. I wonder what it would be like for you to have an experiment, to experiment how often you say no. I notice for me that I have an automatic knee-jerk no. Automatic knee-jerk. Do you want to go to dinner? It's kind of late, but it's 8 o'clock. No, but thank you. I'll take a rain check. I'm kind about it. But my response is no. Do you want to? No. Do you want to? No. No. Now, most of you are tired of the tale, but there might be one or two of you that's new, so I'll tell it again. But in its condensed form, back in 2006, I was in a rut. And it's been said that a rut is a grave with two ends kicked out. But I was in a rut, and I started seeing a therapist in 2006, and the therapist said, you say no a lot. And you're automatically wired to say no, and the way to alter that is to rewire yourself, and how you might rewire is to simply have your intention be a year of saying yes. And so I decided that I was going to do that. And so for 12 months, I had the intention of saying yes. Yes, 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 as often as possible. You have to say no sometimes. Sometimes it's prudent. If it's illegal, immoral, fattening, that kind of stuff. Sometimes you want to say no. Or find the loophole. If you find the loophole, let me know, because I want to know. But sometimes you say no, but make sure you say yes more than you say no. And so I tried that on. And it was amazing. That's how I met Mauricio. Do you want to come and have dinner with me at my house, because I want you to meet a friend of mine? This friend said to me. And my response was no. Yes. And then I met Mauricio, and he said, do you want to come to a party with me tomorrow night? No. Yes, I said. But inside, it was like, yes. And then, do you want to come to Christmas in January party? It's in Oakland. I'd love to. And would you like to have dinner with me next Saturday? I can't think of anything I would rather do. And so, because my intention was to keep saying yes, my world began to alter, even though my reactive state was to say no. Last month's book of the month, and November's book of the month, and January's book of the month all specifically say yes more often and no less often. So I think there's some sign there. I may want to pay attention. There's a quote from Hafez. I rarely let the word no escape from my mouth, because it is so plain to my soul that God has shouted yes, yes, yes to every luminous moment in existence. Have holy relationships. Say yes more frequently. This is two ways to put intentions to work. And lastly, become a person more connected. A portrait of a person connected. is a very interesting one to look at, because a person who is connected, plugged in relationship with the one, in the zone, a person who's got their mojo going, a person whose life seems to work, you may think they're hard to spot because they're not wearing a halo, and they don't necessarily wear clothes of a holy man, holy woman. They don't necessarily move through the world differently than the way most people look, except there's some distinctions. The distinctions are they seem to be lucky, and things seem to work for them, and they seem to have a noticeable absence of victim mentality. And they seem to not run into so many troubles, or they manage their troubles with grace and with ease. They seem to have relationships that are holy with people. What is it? They're not living the ordinary level of awareness. Here's what I noticed the most. They don't say things like this. Well, with my luck, things won't work out. They don't say things like, and I hear this one a lot. People who are taking a bite of like a dessert at a restaurant, they say, well, seconds on the lips, months on the hips. People who are connected tend not to say those things. They're kind of funny, but they're deadly. They instead expect that things are going to work out no matter what. Even if there's no decaf, things are still going to work out. Things are still going to be okay. I had dinner with some friends on Friday night, and then we went to someone's house to have birthday cake. And while we were there, Alba Alamillo, it was her house. She was hosting us. She was telling us, she's a hypnotherapist in Mountain View, and she was telling us an experience she had. She said, and she's Mexican. She said, my husband, I'm speaking first person, my husband and my boys, they hug me so tight sometimes, and I was telling them, stop, you're hurting me, you're bruising me, I'm like a rose, my skin's like rose petals, I'm delicate, my skin is delicate, be gentle with me, my skin is delicate. I'm delicate, she was saying to the men in her family, I'm delicate. And then after saying this for many times, she woke up one morning and she had this rash on her leg, this massive rash. So startling was it, she took a picture and sent it to her mother in Mexico, said, you need to go see a doctor. So she went to see a dermatologist, and they ran all kinds of tests and allergy tests and eczema tests, and her test kept coming back negative, negative, negative. And the dermatologist finally said to her, you don't have any allergies, you don't have eczema, you just have delicate skin. So she said, I immediately stopped saying that to them. Instead, what I said to my sons and my husband is, I am a tough woman, and if you keep hugging me like this, I'm going to knock you down. And she has never had a rash come back. That to me is a person connected, because you realize the impact you can make even on your own body, and you alter it. Really, what if there was a place, a secret place, where nothing was impossible, a miraculous place where you could actually change the world? Do you want to go? Yes. Yeah, me too. Let's pray together, shall we? And it's very simple and easy for me. I start with the remembrance that there's only one power, and it's important for me to remember there's only one power, because I'm not set up to fail because of the possibility of two powers that could be opposed to one another, or one power that might make my wish happen, but another power that could derail it, stop it, decrease it. But there's only one power. And this mighty power is what you are and what I am, and we couldn't be anything else if we tried. And right now we are in alignment. We're in alignment with this one power, its force, its energy. And your will and my will is its will. If it is a will for holy relationships, for living a life in which we say yes more frequently than we say no, living a life in which we are connected. connected to it. And so the word that I speak and the intention that I make right now is that you and I are altering the world as we know it simply by being the best us that we can be, by taking time regularly to reflect on who we really are, and by checking how it is that we move through the world. Is it in alignment with our intentions? And this is beautiful because right now what we have done, is we have put intentions to work. And unlike a goal, this is not future-based, but it's beginning right now. And I'm grateful. And so it is. So it's time for the sharing of our gifts and tithes and offerings. And I was reading an article in a Christian magazine recently entitled, "We Interrupt the Service." And in there, in the article, it describes how a Christian church invited some consultants to help them increase their giving. And the consultants came in and they asked the staff, what is it about the service? How's the service working for you? And how is the offering? And they said, well, we're just totally into worship. And then they interrupt it with an offering. And so this consultant asked everyone present, how do you feel about this? And they all agreed that the offering interrupted the service. And I was thinking about that. I wanted just to let you know that I'm unashamed about the offering. For me, it's not interrupting the service. And at the Center for Spiritual Living in San Jose, actually the offering is part of the service. For me, it's part of the worship because it's an opportunity for us to participate in one of the 5 spiritual practices, which is simply circulation. What I notice about it for me is I notice my attitude about it. That's the most important thing. And I remember years ago when I would sit in a chair like the one you're in, that I had to learn to, it was important for me to learn that as the basket passed in front of me, even if I had nothing to put into it, that I blessed the basket as it passed in front of me, because it was simply a symbol of circulation. And I invite you to consider that with me today, that you bless it no matter what it is, no matter where you are with it, that you begin watching that. And it's interesting, it creates a holy relationship with you and with circulation. So I invite you to say with me our giving affirmation. Love within me blesses everyone I meet today, and I am surrounded by goodwill. Everything I touch today prospers.
Please join us on this one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now repeats. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pouring out. Pouring down. Your love is pouring down. Yeah, your love is pouring. Oh, your love is pouring down. Yeah, your love is pouring. Your love is pouring down. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Pouring down, your love is pouring down. Yeah, your love is
Thank you. Please help me thank again our musicians, our backup vocalists, and Ami has CDs available. So if you'd like to check those out after service, he'll be at a table under the plasma screen in Fellowship Hall, right out there. And go by and say hi, and thank you for being here. We have a few announcements of what's happening this week. As you know, for the month of January, we have been collecting clothing, outerwear, and brand new socks to bring warmth to the homeless this month. So today is the last day. If you want to drop off anything, that would be perfect. Today would be a great day to do that. This evening, Denny Reddy is hosting the Conversations with God. That's at 7 o'clock tonight, if you'd like to come back for that. On Wednesday, Dr. David will be holding satsang. That's where we sit in the silence for as a community from 6:30 to 7 with a brief sharing afterwards. Tea and Miracles is a study of the Course in Miracles. That's on Thursday afternoons at 2 o'clock. Excuse me. This week is the last week to sign up for the Creative Brilliance class that is hosted by Reverend Megan and Deborah Dake Morrell. So all the paintings you see on the platform every Sunday come from that class. It started last Saturday, but you can still sign up this week if you'd like to. On February 7th, BJ King is hosting a Law of Attraction play shop. And we already told you, I believe, about Dr. Susan's class that's coming up, Healthy Body, Mind, and Spirit. That'll be on Thursdays beginning February 12th, and you can sign up at the concierge after service, or you can sign up from the comfort of your living room. And I think that's it today. It's pretty brief, and I hope you all have a fantastic week. If there's something in your life for which you would like prayer, please have a seat in the chapel area after service, and one of our licensed practitioners would be there to pray with you.
Thank you, Ami. And Jason? Jesse? Terry, good to have you guys. Good to have you here back. Would you all please stand and take the hand of the person on your right and on your left, and would you just join me in a simple moment of benediction? Won't you know with me that you and I are never alone, but God is where we are right now and always. And the only thing we will ever need to do is look inside ourselves, because it is there we will find that we are guided and sustained and directed and inspired by a God that knows only good. And joyously let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. And so it is.
All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's all amazing, and I'm thankful for it all. For it all. Na 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 na. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's all amazing, and I'm thankful for it all. For it all. Na 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 na. Grateful for it all. Na 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 na. Grateful for it all.
Relationships. Life is in my finances. Life is in our children. I see it. I think it. I feel it. I believe it. I accept it. And I express it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. And before you leave, if any of you are interested in the possibility of going to Bali in 2016 in January, see me afterwards, because we've already started a list and we're exploring the possibilities. There's already 49 people who want to go. So let me know.
I'll see you out there.